Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a few weeks since I put out a video, I think, and I've been working on putting things up for sale and things like that. So I thought I would talk about this set of speakers since I haven't touched on them in prior videos. So this is a set of JBL L80T speakers. And these came out in 1985. I think they were available from 85 to 87. Not too sensitive. They have a sensitivity of around 90 decibels and a three-way speaker with a 10-inch woofer. And they have that, that titanium tweeter that I think a lot of us are familiar with, or maybe not. These, one thing about this series, the T3 as well, that came after this, the cabinets and the veneer on these are just awesome. I think they're some of the best looking veneer because they also did the back, which I'll show you in some video of just the speakers here shortly. But I think as far as veneer, they really did an excellent job on these cabinets. And for me, it's one of the standout features. I'm a sucker for great wood veneer, and these have a nice walnut on them. And, nice to see. Nice that they were all the way around, and backs included. That's what's a bit unusual. Let me take the grills off here, and you can get a little bit better look at them. And here they are. As you can see, very straightforward three-way configuration. We have the titanium tweeter, which I think we're all familiar with. Has a nice protective dome over it, by the way, to keep, curious fingers from pushing things in, which some people are prone to do. Let's see, it looks like a 3-inch, I think, I didn't check this, mid-range, and then a 10-inch woofer. The woofer will need to be refoamed if you have an original set. It is foam surrounds. They surely need to be done some time ago. And these are being redone. One thing I will tell you and give you a little bit of a suggestion if you tackle this yourself is that this little ring around the outside perimeter here, it's a foam, and it's dried out after all this time, but you can remove it if you're very careful. I use if you're familiar with spark plugs, we used to have a thing called a gap tool, and they used to come in a little set, and you'd have different gaps. Well, the metal on those is extremely durable, and it's a stainless steel, and you can find some of them in that selection that are very thin but very strong, and they're excellent to pry under things very delicately without damaging them. And so I use one of those to go around the edge and remove them so I don't cause any damage. But if you have some other tools, I'm sure just work at it very gently, and you can get this off because it is delicate, it is brittle, and it will be damaged if you're not careful with it. After that, it's straightforward refoaming like any other speaker, but just a little tip if you're not comfortable with doing or haven't done a lot of refoams. So you can buy these separately, I think from some shops, but better just to try and remove it without damage, and then you can put it right back on. So, and by the way, the 10-inch woofer, as far as output, it actually delivers quite a bit of bass for these. This is a ported speaker, and you'll see that when you see the all-around view I'll show you here in a few minutes. But it does a pretty good job. It isn't. It can probably benefit from a sub, but if you're not too low-end centric, it does a respectable job, for a 10-inch woofer. So not too shabby. But most of the time, I think we talk about the tweeter, at least for me, when I talk about this series of JBLs, including the T3. And similarly to my review of the L100 T3 I did some time ago, I found these, for my ears, they're a little on the bright side. And interesting, when I looked at the spec says it goes all the way to 80,000 hertz, so it goes way up there. And, obviously multiple times what we can ever hope to hear. And so I don't know that says it's a reflection of, calling a speaker or a driver bright, but for my ears, again, even though I think this is, for my ears, a little bit easier than the T3. For me, the T3 was a very bright speaker. I don't find these quite at that level. I find them a little bit more subdued, but but maybe some people didn't like that, and that's why they changed, the T3 a little bit. But I'm not quite sure. But for my ears, they still are, for me, a little bright. Not as bright for me as, say, the Yamaha NS1000. I found those to be probably some of the brightest speakers I've ever heard. But again, that's just for my ears. There is nothing wrong, and they're not damaged, and there's not anything wrong with the engineering. It is just how they were developed, and some people love that. And if you like a bright speaker, then I think you will love these speakers. There are lots of fans for this series, and that's quite okay. I don't have to agree with what your ears prefer, and vice versa. So, but I did want to point out that for me anyway, this tweeter, even after 35 years, my first set of speakers when I got out of college that I reviewed were a set of L20s, and I recall this tweeter, and I recall it being the same issue I had back then as I have today, is that over some time it caused my ears some fatigue, and it did back then when my ears were younger and as they are older, and I still have that same impression. So it's just something about this style of tweeter, for me, and it's never changed even after all this time. So, I find that kind of interesting that at least for my ears, that quality about this didn't change my opinion over all those decades anyway. So this is the L80T. Very nice speaker. These are up for sale, by the way, as well. They're in excellent condition. I've got some pictures and things. I will show some video, but if you want additional pictures, if you're interested in them, let me know. But great speaker, does a lot, in a fairly small package. I had the L100Ts, which were a bit taller and not a huge footprint. It's a little bit, it's a squared, footprint, whereas a lot of newer speakers are a little bit more rectangular, a little more deep than they are, and narrower than these. But I think it's a great looking speaker with the grills on or off. A nice speaker all the way around, especially if you're interested in a speaker that's a little bright. I think they're just for you. At this point in time, I think folks have become familiar with this line, with this titanium tweeter, what it does, how it sounds, and I think that distinguishes it from a lot of other speakers. But anyway, that's my fairly quick overview of the JBL L80T. As I said, these are going to be on my spreadsheet, so if you're looking for what's available for sale, you can certainly check it out there. I'm going to start trying to do some mini reviews of other things. Some will be larger reviews. I have some things that are kind of iconic that I still plan to bring out, including the set of speakers that I will say are the best speakers I've ever heard. And those are upcoming probably in a couple of weeks, I would say. So working on that, and lots of other stuff. So thank you guys for watching today, and as always, see you soon.